Hello, everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I am your co-host, Mike L., and as always, I'm joined by...
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That is right. And this week, it's my pick, and I'm following up on the theme of King Arthur and the Round Table, so of course I picked Camelot 3000 by DC.
Yes, well, last week we did Excalibur.
Yes.
Which, I guess there's a Merlin connection there.
Yeah. And so, to anticipate this episode, I went ahead and posted on Back Issue Magazine, which is my favorite Facebook page, and I put, finally diving into Camelot 3000. So far, I'm loving it. Any fans here? Let's see. Oh, look at that. 118 likes.
What?
48 comments, okay? All positive, and one former DC editor, Paul Kupperberg. Wait, haven't we come across Paul Kupperberg before?
That name's familiar.
Yeah, he said something like, "Are there any?" And he basically flipped it on me. He said something like, "Does anyone not like it?" Like
me, I'm raising my hand right here.
Look at that! What a surprise! Right, from now on, I'm going to call you Contrarian because that's what you are.
This is like the dumbest comic book I've ever read. The concept is so absurd and just nonsensical.
Absurd. Right. No, what we should do is we should read, Fantastic Four because that's not absurd.
Yes. All right. But, all right, well, let's explain this. Camelot 3000 from 1982. I had never heard of it. I think I heard of it in just doing research for a previous episode. But when it came out, I never heard of it. I was just a lad. Mm-hmm. But it was DC's first 12-issue maxi series.
Woo!
Maxi series.
That's right.
And if I recall, your beloved Amethyst was also a maxi series.
I think you're right about that. Yep.
Yeah. Well, this was the first one, and it was created specifically for the direct market audience. So explain to the kids what the direct market is.
So the newsstand or the grocery store where you used to buy comics that's just like general distribution. Direct market is a specialty shop like a comic book store that buys comics directly from the company at a discount, and they're non-returnable. So whereas like a grocery store, maybe they'll get 50 copies of Batman and they'll only sell 30. They'll rip the covers off the remaining 20 and send them back for credit or whatever. Or no, they send the covers back and throw the rest out. Direct market, if you buy 50 copies, you keep 50 copies, right? And so back in the 80s, Marvel and DC started slowly moving to direct-only sales. And now they're pretty much direct-only for everything.
What was the idea behind ripping the covers off and sending them back?
That's a good question.
Seems like a waste of books, no?
Totally. Like, I think the idea was that, the grocery store would be like, well, we're not going to sell these, but it's too expensive to mail them back because it's not worth it. So we're going to throw them out, but we have to have proof that we didn't just like steal them or give them away, right? So we rip the covers off to make them worthless. Then we mail those covers back to the company as proof because obviously it's all about weight, right? So I think that's the reason. Yeah.
But you think the company like DC or Marvel would be like, no, send them back.
I know, but then they'd have warehouses of unsold comics, right?
I guess, but it just seems so wasteful.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So also another big thing about this Camelot 3000, Michael, it was the first book printed on Baxter paper.
Oh, what's funny is I noticed the paper was different, but I wasn't sure what kind it was. But I love Baxter paper, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about it before in the show, but it's just a thick, white, heavier stock of paper, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it was mostly reserved for, like not all comics went to Baxter, but just, fancy ones.
Well, yeah, I think in these days it was mostly reprints. Like, I know, Warlock, there was a Warlock reprint series. There was Doctor Strange, Nick Fury, right? They'd reprint, the best stuff from the 60s and 70s, I think, usually.
The writer here is Mike W. Barr, who we've talked about on the show many times, and Brian Bolland is the artist. And Barr first pitched the idea to DC in 1975 when he was a 23-year-old lad, and they rejected it. And they were very smart to do so. Real quick, if you're at home and you're like, hey, what's Camelot 3000? Well, if you ever loved King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, but you thought, if only they could be fighting aliens in the year 3000. Yeah. This is the comic book for you.
That's right.
So that's the idea he had. And I guess it was he was taking a college course about King Arthur and stuff, and that inspired the idea. And so DC rejected it in 1975. Then he pitched it to Marvel, who bought the idea.
Really?
And they planned to run it in one of their black and white magazines. But then I guess someone said, no, this is ridiculous. We're not going to do it. And the project never got off the ground for whatever reason. So Barr then pitched it again to DC, and this time they bit.
Interesting. And it's also funny. I mean, I'm sure you'll get to this later, but Brian Bolland, to my knowledge, he never did a monthly series before or after this for DC or Marvel, right?
There's a good reason for that. Do you want to know why?
Why?
He had trouble meeting the deadlines. Because let's look at it. It's a 12-issue maxi series, yet it's the first issue that we're reading today was published December 1982. Issue 12 was published April 1985.
Yikes.
And it was a monthly series. So let's do the math there. Things didn't really go as planned.
There's a lot of people, there's a lot of people commenting that there was one full year in between 11 and 12. So.
Well, 9 months. So yeah, it's pretty much. But let's look at the publication dates here. So one was December of 82. Then it came out each month right on schedule through issue 5. Okay. Then issue 5 was April 1983. Then issue 6 was July 1983. Then we had August of 83, so there you go, that's still good. Then September of 83, all right, still good. Issue 9, December of 83, so we missed a month there. And now we jump all the way to March of 1984 with issue 10. And then issue 11 is July of 1984. And then issue 12, April 1985. Holy hell.
Well, guess what, though? It's okay as long as it's good, right? That's all that matters. And it stays the test of time.
This is so terrible. So, but if you're reading this series at the time, like, what are you thinking? Like, how many readers did they have? And they had to just be outraged. Like, why did DC even keep doing it? Like, why didn't they just say, all right, enough, we're done?
Well, because it's Brian Bolland, right? That's why.
Oh, yeah, it's so great. Oh, my goodness. So, so there it is, Camelot 3000. I think that's really all I need to say to set this up. I don't know.
Well,
is there anything else to say?
I mean, we'll talk about the creators later, obviously, but I want to quickly point out that Brian Bolland was actually the first of the British creators to come over to America. He was before Alan Moore. So,
and he this was one of his first big gigs, I guess, and he was still in England at the time they started this.
Okay.
And I guess Barr, because of that, and because it was more difficult back in the day, no internets, the way they did it was Barr just wrote it like a full script, and
cool.
they didn't do the Marvel way, where you get the plot and then they draw. So that's how they did it. And I guess Bolland, this was also one of the first things he had done that he didn't also ink. So he did the very detailed drawings to try and limit the inkers. So he didn't want to give them much creativity. And then I guess in issue 2, Michael, they tried to do something, a unique little production method where they tried to do away with inking entirely and just go print directly from his pencils.
Really?
And they did it. It only lasted for I guess the process they did it for only the first 2 pages of issue 2.
Wow. I haven't gotten that far yet.
Because Bolland determined that it was even more work to put in the heavier lines. I guess he needed that. It might as well just ink it. So it only lasted for 2 pages. But
they've done that since then. Like Extreme X-Men by Salvatore LaRocca. That was reproduced directly from his pencils, and to me it looked terrible. I'd rather see inks,
Yeah, I had no idea they ever even tried to do this. So yeah. So all right, I think that's everything. Well, do you want to talk about the creators now, because we already talked about Mike W. Barr a lot on that? Like we've done at least 2 of his issues before. Yeah,
I think he did Brave and the Bold and one other one. I'm not sure what.
Did that Batman special with the Wraith?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Wraith.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's. I don't know if I told you, but I had a stack of Green Lanterns starting from number 90 and going all the way to 225, and I skimmed through all of them. Like, if I would get to a writer and he wasn't good, I would just skip his run. But I'll tell you right now, out of Denny O'Neil, Marv Wolfman, Len Wein, and Steve Englehart, Mike W. Barr was the best.
A real murderer's row of mediocrity. All right, so the artist Brian Bolland, we never discussed him. He was born in Butterwick, Lincolnshire, England in 1951. Butterwick. That's a pretty cool town. And that's really all I got on him.
Are you kidding me?
Well, I guess Dave Gibbons was big on getting him into the comics.
Okay.
Like he met Dave Gibbons at a convention or something, and Gibbons, they struck up a friendship, and Gibbons, and of course Dave Gibbons, Watchmen fame for those who aren't familiar.
Right.
And so he was instrumental in getting Bolland into comics, and then he did some stuff. I guess his first big thing was Judge Dredd.
Right.
And that was a regular series that he drew.
But
and
it was
like,
only 8 pages each issue or something, or 7.
Yeah, and it was from like 77 to I think 80-ish, 79, something like that. So that was pre-Camelot 3000. And then he's probably most famous, though, Michael, for what? Tell the kids. The Batman,
Killing
right?
Joke.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Killing Joke.
And that was him, basically. They said to DC, okay, do what you want. And I think it was his assignment, and he picked Alan Moore, not the other way around. As far as I know, I could be wrong. And yeah, that's what he's most famous for. But honestly, since then, like if you look through his bibliography, he's mostly done covers. He did covers for like, what was it? Animal Man, Doom Patrol, Flash, stuff like that. But not really interiors.
Yeah, he does a ton of covers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
he's probably the most. I'm assuming the most highly paid cover artist in comics, as far as I know, except for maybe Alex Ross.
Bill Sienkiewicz needs a new agent.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying. So these 3 big credits are Camelot 3000, Judge Dredd, and Batman: The Killing Joke.
Right.
So there you go.
And he's his art, to me, one thing that's cool about him is his style. I mean, he was pretty much already good, when he was, 20?
I'm not a fan.
Are you
not a fan?
Contrarian? I said it before, I'll say it again.
Not a fan.
You like things that are good.
He was like, he was
good.
like 31 here doing Camelot 3000, so.
Yeah. And, he was already in peak form. Have you read Killing Joke?
Yeah, I have. Yes.
I mean, he was obviously a little bit better then, but still, I mean, he's always been good. I don't think I've ever seen him turn in something bad, but I'm not a contrarian, so.
Michael, have we ever talked about Killing Joke?
I don't think so, no.
So in the end, Batman kills him. Right?
That's Grant Morrison's theory, but that's kind of been disproven.
How, though? Because that's the only way it makes any sense.
I know. No, trust me. I thought that was really cool, especially considering the title. It's like, duh, what do you think this is? But apparently, if you look at the script given to Brian Bolland, it's not in there. It doesn't say that he breaks his neck. So, I don't know. I mean, it could be, but...
Well, I don't care about the script given to him. What's in print?
Okay.
You know? Like, should we give a fuck what the script was? What's in print? Like, look at the Pick comic.
It's not overt, obviously, because no one got it for 30 years. So, it's obviously... You have to
How could no one get that? I don't know. Like, I just read it, and then I got I heard that there's a big controversy about it, but I didn't understand what the controversy was. I'm like, of course he kills him. I don't understand.
So wait, when did you first read Killing Joke?
Maybe about 4 years ago.
Okay, so you'd already heard the story, you mean?
No. Like, I had no idea there was a controversy about Batman killing him. I just assumed,
so you're saying you read it, and when you got to the end, you're like, oh, he just killed Joker.
Yeah.
So that means you're the second person in 40 years to ever walk away with that. Because
apparently, because it was shocked. Like no one
until Grant Morrison said it, and like the internet turned upside down. But Kevin Smith was like, "I want them," and it like started this huge thing online.
See, that's what I don't understand. I don't understand. As an outsider, it makes no sense to me. I don't get it. Like, is it just because so many people grew up with Batman not killing people that they figured it? Like,
I don't know. I don't think that's it. I think it's just like when I read that story, I just thought, oh, he just stopped laughing. That's all. You know?
All right. I suppose, but okay. Anyway, enough about that. We'll save that for the Killing Joke podcast.
That's right. Coming up soon.
Camelot 3000.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this cover. I mean, hey, this was done in, 82, you said?
Yeah. Yes.
Feels like 2022. It's so modern looking.
What?
Yes. Oh, it's so good. Anyway, Maxi Series 1 of 12, December 1982. The time has come. Camelot 3000 we see this shot of Merlin with his arms up. He's kind of like larger than life, and in front of him is King Arthur walking towards us holding Excalibur, and in the background we see what's his name, Tom.
I guess.
Kid Tom. We'll meet him in a few minutes. Getting
Fucking
shot
Tom.
by these lizard aliens that are shooting.
Well,
a
getting
laser
shot
gun.
at. Being shot at.
Getting shot at, and there's like a big laser explosion, and this is all. It's behind King Arthur, but King Arthur's walking towards us, and Merlin's cape is kind of translucent, and that's all going on behind them. So, and in the background we see like UFOs, not UFOs, but like spaceships flying, and that's pretty much it.
It's kind of weird that, and by the way, I think I read that Ross Andrew actually did the layout for this. And then
Really? Huh.
I saw that on like the one page. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's weird that they had Merlin's cape like being translucent into the bottom. Like,
It is.
you think
weird.
you would just have him looming in the background, like behind everything. But
Yeah.
so
And you
that's
don't
odd.
really need it to be. It doesn't really reveal that much. There's really no point in
No.
it being translucent. No.
Yeah, like you could just have it behind the shooting and everything. Like, and then the aliens. First let's say King Arthur. He's wearing like a red little tunic kind of thing, a blue cape, and gold chainmail legs and arms, and blue boots. Mm-hmm. Quite the colorful.
Well, it's kind
dresser.
of like those
King Arthur.
swashbuckler boots are standard superhero issue, right? Like this is
Yeah,
not historically
they're
accurate.
fine. But yeah, the gold chainmail and the red tunic and the blue cape and a little much.
Red hair.
Then we got Tom, you mentioned, he's a dork. And then we got the aliens. Describe the aliens for the people.
Well, they're like green, the green skin,
Yes.
but they have like purple sort of armor, and like they have skinny legs and skinny arms and like sort of biggish heads like a lizard, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, kind of like a cross between a lizard and an insect. I don't know.
Yeah, you could say that.
And their spaceships are flying there behind them. Mm-hmm. The least aerodynamic spaceships ever. Like a big block of wood with wings.
Ah.
So Camelot 3000. And how much did they soak the kids for this? There's like
Let's
no
see.
price on it.
That's what's funny is this. I don't think this is the original cover, but I have the original cover in the other room, but I don't
That's
know how
all right.
much it was. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just assume it was way too much. All right. So Bruce D. Patterson, he inked chapters 1 through 5.
Right.
Now, what does that mean, chapters 1
I'm
through
assuming
5?
that means issues 1 through 5, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm confused about, because this story isn't broken up into chapters. So
Well, this is obviously that's a good question. I think this is we're looking at a digital version. So.
Oh, do you think this was from the trade paperback?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. The color, Tatiana Wood, colorist,
Yep.
Tatiana Wood.
So that's
Ever heard of her?
recolored. I'm assuming. I think that's new, but I don't know.
John Costanza, the letter, George Costanza's little brother. And original series cover art by Brian Bolland.
Yeah.
So I guess, they don't even mention Ross Andrews, so maybe I just made that up. I don't know. Continuing Legends chronicled by Sir Thomas Mallory.
That's right.
He's very good. Yeah. All right. So, the past and future king.
Yeah, so we got this weird splash page.
Again, this was DC's favorite thing to do. Put in a splash page at the beginning that has no connection, or it sums up the story.
It's like
or, I don't
another
know.
cover, yeah. So
Yeah.
this is King Arthur standing there with his sword up, and behind him is the face of Merlin, the face of some guy that's not Tom,
Yeah.
and then the face of a girl. I can't remember who this is.
She's not Tom either.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, apparently Mike W. Barr, his original pitch was to have a girl in the part of Tom.
Interesting.
And the editor, Len Wein, told him, no, make it a dude.
What an asshole.
I think it would have been better with a girl.
I think so too.
Because Tom is kind of, I don't know. Anyway.
Well,
right.
he's like
I only
the
read
Luke
one issue.
Skywalker, yeah. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So now we dive in, and we see we're in the midst of a aliens basically shooting lasers at London. So this is, did we mention this is the future? This is in
It's the year 3000.
3000, and we see
But don't be
London.
alarmed, because everyone still dresses and talks like 1982.
Yeah, that's true. So we see these aliens attacking London, and people are running for cover.
And they're in space. Their spaceships are shooting at London. Like we don't see the aliens yet. Just the spaceships.
There's spaceships, right? And there's people, like running for cover and blah blah blah, and getting shot at.
And look, Big Ben is still there in year 3000.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that amazing?
It's unbelievable. Do you think they'd still have clocks in the year 3000?
I think so. It looks like it. I mean,
why 3000, Michael? Couldn't they just set this in 2000 or I don't know, 1985? I don't know. Just make it something. Why all the way to 3000?
Because
if you're jumping all the way to 3000, I need to see some pretty crazy technology in a very changed world. If it's the year 3000,
So you don't like jeans and slacks and jackets and
dudes
earrings?
With an earring in his left ear.
Glasses. The guy's got
mullets.
glasses. He's balding.
No, I don't enjoy it. Anyway, so yeah, the aliens are blowing up London, and then we see one old guy and one young fella, and they're trying to avoid the aliens.
Uh-huh. And then cut over to our hero.
No. Huh? Well, let's spend some more time on this page.
Let's go panel by panel.
Well, let's spend some more time on this page because, so the aliens are shooting. He goes, over here, Pop, jump. There you go. You're safe now. Safe. Don't you believe it, lad? We may not be dead yet, but we sure ain't safe. True enough, though I guess it's just a matter of time. The stinking aliens aren't taking prisoners. I hear they're just killing us wholesale.
No. Wait, it's the stinking aliens aren't taking prisoners, I hear. They're just killing us wholesale.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed the emphasis there. And they've got the whole city cordoned off. No chance to escape. Lord, what I want to give to be out of here. Yeah, okay, so here's what we need to discuss here, Michael.
Huh?
Who are these people? Who are they? And why do you start a 12-issue maxi series with these two people when we don't see them again?
That is a valid question. That's a valid question. We could probably skip, if we were to adapt this story into a movie, we would skip that page. Definitely.
It's so dumb. It's just like forcing exposition to let everyone know what's going on. But guess what? You could have just done it on the next page because we get Tom and his family trying to escape the aliens. Why not just start there? There's no reason to start here with these two random goofballs.
That is a good point. I'll give you that. 1 point for Mike Dell.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway. All right. So now we jump ahead.
No, we have to have them introduce that they're trying to get to France to join the resistance.
But you could do that with Tom right here. You don't need to do that with them.
Opening page.
No,
that's why, yeah.
You didn't. And on the way to France to join the resistance, that's where they hope. And by the way, if the world is really in trouble from aliens, the one place you want to go, the one place that's going to defend you, France.
That's right.
That's the country that's going to save the day.
They know when to quit, right? Anyway.
So we see Tom and his parents, and Tom's driving his little flying car because why do they have flying cars? It's the year 3000.
That's right.
And apparently in the year 3000, you don't need roofs on your cars because it no longer rains in the year 3000.
When I look at this again, I see, look, it's Luke Skywalker, Uncle Owen, and Baru, right? Little parallels there. Luke had
Where's the blue milk? We just need the blue milk and everything will be fine.
So they're riding along, talking about how are they talking about France too? No.
About London, I think, and how they're not going to be able to come back and see London, and his mom's crying. And
right, but then just as they're talking, what happens? An alien ship comes out of nowhere. Brace yourselves! It shoots them with 2 lasers, and then the car blows up. But our hero gets away, right?
Yeah.
Saves.
Yeah, he jumps out. He jumps out of the car in time, but his parents blew up. And again, we got to describe, I didn't do these ships justice. They're basically a tin can with wings and a shark's fin on the top.
Yeah, this is a weird looking ship. I'll give you that. I know that Jack Kirby tended to use household objects to design his spaceships, but this looks like
terrible.
I don't know what this looks like. Yeah, it's weird, but anyway.
It's the year 3000. All right.
That's right.
So Tom jumps from the burning car, and we see in the next page we get 3 panels, and it's just one giant picture, but he moves in each panel. You know what I mean? Yeah, split up. So in the first panel, to an objective observer, it is obvious that young Tom could not possibly have saved his parents' lives, but until he himself acknowledges this truth, he will run, and run, and run.
Right. They gotta. gotta hit it home, right? Now we get what they mean. Okay, gotcha.
And he keeps running, and he's running and running and running until he reaches Glastonbury Tor, for aeons, a region thick, swathed in magic and mystery. So he's been running a very long time. And it just so happens that he's part of an archaeological dig at this site, Michael.
Of course.
Yeah.
Coincidence, right? That's how you make a good story.
Seems a little weird.
So yeah, he comes up to this like big steel doorway, and okay, what does it say here? So he goes up to it and he like hits this button and it says, "DIG or dig personnel only. Provide vocal identification. Pretense Thomas Puff, junior member of Dig." And then he's like, "Almost forgot. We came by. How do you pronounce this? Glastonbury."
Glastonbury.
Glastonbury.
There's a big music festival there a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
At least there used to be.
So there's all these like weapons and helmets and stuff inside this thing. Well, like I don't know what like weapons. But then
yeah, I don't know if they're weapons. I think they're tools to dig.
Yeah.
It's because you know how we know it's the year 3000, Michael? They have crowbars with flashlights attached to them. That's how we know it's the year 3000. Again, I'm not expecting Mike W. Barr and Brian Bolland in 1982 to be inventing the internet and stuff and, like coming up with all these, legit ideas. But a little more creativity would have been welcomed, I think. But,
You could argue that. And what about the fact that, like the speaker above the door looks exactly like a speaker from 1982. I think that's great.
Yeah, just set the story in 1982. Like, why? Just so they can have flying cars?
Give it a couple years. 1985 at least, right?
Yeah, whatever. But yeah, the only thing here is the aliens coming in. Like, that could have happened at any point in our history, having space monkeys come down and invade Earth. We don't, it would have been fine. But yes, year 3000. All right.
So now we think he's safe, but we cut to the exterior and we see a finger, an alien finger pointing with alien
green
language.
finger.
Yes, we know it's
or like
an alien.
claws.
Right.
Yeah.
Pointing.
Yeah, the alien language too, like you mentioned. Yeah, in the speech bubble there.
That's right.
Yeah. Just a bunch of squiggles.
And then we cut to this other guy. I guess this is the Han Solo of the story.
More great writing coming up here. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy's like, what's the great writing you want to call attention to?
You can, yeah.
Oh, this is the money guy, right?
Yeah, just the exposition and stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He's like, how fortunate then that I will be spending the night at my estate. They may stay at the townhouse indefinitely. Then he's like, lodging, medicine, transportation, all necessary. Yet all treating a symptom, not the disease. Across the channel, aliens are establishing a base for God knows what purpose in England. So this is in France. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
he's trying to bring in refugees because I guess aliens, even they don't like France, so they don't want to go to France.
And we see the Eiffel Tower there, but it's dwarfed by all these futuristic 3000, the year 3000 looking buildings.
Yeah, and they're basically just books stacked on top of each other.
That's true.
That's basically
at least they had the foresight to predict future technology and architecture.
At least they tried. They tried to do something. But
right. So then this guy's like, and all the matchless wealth of jewels Futrell can do is help the victims. We cannot attack. Their weapons make ours look like toys. I am the richest man in the world, and I'm useless. Useless. See, there you go. Some good exposition there, right, Mike Dell?
Love it. Yep. Love it. Somewhere there must be someone who can help us. But who? And how? Excellent questions, those, ... And though Jules Futurelle has no way of knowing it, they're about to be answered.
Woo!
Now, Mike, how do you feel about those narrations? Because oftentimes you make fun of narrations like that.
I think these are great.
Okay.
They're explaining us exactly what's going on, and it's fantastic. Anyway. So then...
And we see Tom in his blue sweatpants tucked into his tube socks. And his Velcro tennis sneakers. Running, good lord. Yeah.
So he's like running through this like hallway. It was all black. And then outside the aliens are trying to get in. And basically, they make their way in with their laser beam, and the first thing they do is they turn on this like infrared thing, and they can see his footprint, so they know exactly where he's going. And we get this great shot at the bottom of these alien legs right up front. Oh, you don't like that? Oh,
okay. No, the leg shot's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I thought you were talking about Tom standing there with the... No, that is not a great shot of Tom.
That's not great, but the close-up of Tom is good. You got to give us that. Come on.
That's okay. Yeah, I don't like this. This is the style I don't like. But yeah, that's a fine shot. But the alien legs thing is good. Yes, that's fine. Yeah.
So then he's like, they found me. So he turns around and, smashes his face into this something stone. We don't know what it is yet, but he smashes his face and, like, falls over. And he's like, bloody stupid place to put a rock. Well, the old Pro Bar ought to clear it out because that's what you do. So I don't know what he's trying to do. Is he trying to hit it or what?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to smack it with the year 3000 crowbar.
Right.
I hope he doesn't damage the flashlight.
Right. Yeah. So then he's like, no, it can't be. And all of a sudden, he sees the inscription. Here lies buried the renowned King Arthur, once and future king. Just my rotten luck. I finally find something historically important when I'm running for my life. Well, whoever's buried here, I mean, who could it be, right? Whoever's buried here, all he's doing now is blocking my way. So, and then so he crowbars open the lid. Oops, just clicked on something. And then we see a hand come out, right? How long? And then we cut to this splash page. Awesome, best page in the book. King Arthur is standing there. And he's like, how long? How many nights has slept Arthur Pendragon, King of Britain, Lord of the Roman Empire? And then Tom's like, oh, wow. Listen, Mr. Whoever you are, we got to get
This is what fast. I don't get. Whoever you are. You just see a guy who looks like King Arthur stand out of a crypt that was said, it's King Arthur's crypt, and you're like, whoever you are.
Yeah.
You just think this was some wacky dude who drifted into this ancient burial site and climbed into a crypt and has been sleeping there for a while, I guess. I don't know.
I can't piece two and two together. One trope I don't like in fantasy movies is when one character refuses to believe that either someone's an alien or, or whatever.
I get if he's walking down the street and stumbles upon this guy. Right. But you were just in an ancient burial ground. You just opened his crypt.
Right. It's fun. It's a cheap way to try to make it seem like the guy is grounded in reality. Because the easy thing would for him to be just to believe it, right? But that's still, look, just go with it. It's a story about King Arthur in 3000. Yes. Just have him believe it. Who cares, right?
But this whole time he's like, oh, I don't know if I can trust. Who is this guy? I don't know if I can trust. Oh my God.
And then then the kid's like, this guy not only thinks he's King Arthur, but he even speaks the language. Good thing I understand it. Huh? Okay.
Yeah, he's speaking English. It's just like,
so then King Arthur, he grabs the thing, the weapon.
The year 3000 crowbar.
Yeah, the crowbar, and then he hits one of the aliens on the head, and then he grabs the laser gun from the alien. He's like, away with that weird torch! Away with it, I say! Or better, if ye so dearly wish to see it rend flesh, then give it to me. And then he shoots he stabs the alien with his
year 3000 crowbar.
Yeah, and then now he's got the gun. So he's like, and I shall grant thy boon, though not in the manner ye intended. And he shoots the guy and the alien, and he disintegrates him.
Yeah.
So then he's like, I am sore tempted to keep this weapon, and why not? Its owner has no further use for it. So then they start chatting it up. And King Arthur's like, he's like trying to figure out what's going on. He's like, how long have I been asleep? And he's like, well, it's the year 3000. And he's like, the year 3000, ye say? By Jesu, I slept.
Couldn't you tell by the crowbar?
Yeah.
It's the year 3000.
Yeah. So basically, he's like, okay, we got to get out of here. He's like, we got to go find, who does he want to look? Who's looking for? Merlin? Or no, Mordred. Which I thought it was Mordred.
No. Mordred's the guy that wounded him in the head.
Okay.
And his head healed itself. By the year 3000, his head wound healed. So he has to go to. He wants to go to Stonehenge.
Oh, right? Okay. Yeah.
But he says, "I must find him, lad." He mentions Merlin, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah, somewhere in here. I can't find it.
Or no, maybe he wants to get revenge on Mordred. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
But he says, I must find him, lad. Could you come with me? I'll need a squire in this strange era. I'm sorry, your majesty, I can't. And then he says, all right, well, whatever, I'm leaving. And then Tom's there thinking, oh, no, I can't go with him. I got to get to France. But why? Mom and Dad are dead. And I especially wanted to see them safe. I've got no friends or relatives in France. Besides, it's a long way to the coast. And there's no telling how many of these blokes are lurking about. He's looking at the aliens.
Yeah.
I don't for a minute believe he's who he says he is, but he sure can deal with the aliens. Wait a minute, your majesty. I'm coming with you. Yeah, so he still doesn't believe he's King Arthur.
Pointless.
I know, yeah.
So then they get to the entrance to the cave thing, and they see these two lizard aliens standing by their spaceship. And King Arthur throws his year 3000 crowbar at one, and he lasers the other and disintegrates him.
Yep.
So yeah, then we get my favorite scene in the book where they get into the spaceship, and Tom figures out how to operate this spaceship in 3 seconds.
Well, he says, do I take thy words correctly? Does this structure fly? Well, yeah, but then our conundrum is solved, lad. We shall harness this vehicle. Can you guide her? Sigh. Let's have a look. And soon. This appears to be a kind of short-range ship, so it's fairly simple. Indeed? Yeah, the red levers for takeoffs, and the grid here guides the ship to whatever destination you set it for. Wow, that's pretty easy. Just push the lever up and you take off. So I guess it is the year 3000. So yeah, that technology. those Tesla self-driving cars, and here we go. By 3000, we have red lever equipped spaceships. There you go.
Yeah, and they're off. You know, now that I look at this ship, it kind of looks like a fish. Well, you said like a shark fin.
Like a shark fin on the top, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway. So yeah, they fly. So now they're going to Stonehenge, and then we cut
to
over...
find Merlin. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. See, he mentions Merlin before, right? Or
he must have. I don't know. Somewhere.
Yeah, because now they're saying we got to find Merlin.
I don't know. So then now we cut over to somewhere in North America, and we see a bunch of guys watching this computer screen of aliens shooting at this is like the bubbles here. UED's ship Ion Cloud to HQ. Aliens have badly damaged us. Will commence emergency. No, bail out, blast it, bail out. And then the ship gets blown up. The captain was a rank amateur. I should have been there. And so basically they're arguing back and forth. So this is in North America, and it's funny because they're wearing like a version of the American flag.
Evil. Oh, see, I thought it was the Evil Knievel's outfit.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
way.
It's like, yeah. Go ahead.
Well, this blonde is also the blonde lady we saw on the first splash page.
Right.
That was not a splash page or whatever. So yeah.
So yeah, like basically we have a blonde, a bald guy, and another guy, and they're all wearing these outfits that have like kind of like white collars with blue stars, a blue kind of jacket, white and red cuffs, and then like red pants. So it's kind of like red, white, and blue theme, you know. And they're, talking about how the aliens are here, blah, blah, blah. And, they're like, it won't matter which of us are alive or dead because the planet Earth will be in chains. So this is like, they've got their own thing going on here. And
Michael, looking at her face there, do you still want to say that this is great art? Do you really
I would say it's not as good as Brian Bolland got later. I'll give you that.
No.
That's not a good shot.
This is not good. No. All right.
So, yeah. So now we cut over and we get some exposition, which we like so much, right?
Yeah.
And basically,
but see, this is fine. This is fine because he's telling Arthur. He's filling in Arthur. So this is how you do exposition. You have one character not know what's going on. You have someone else tell them what's going on.
Sure.
It's done poorly, like in Wolfpack. Remember that issue, Wolfpack, when everyone knows what's going on, yet they still explain it.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
Yeah. So he's explaining to them. He's like, our cities are nothing but layer after layer of stores and apartments because the population's so large. There's barely enough food or water to go around, and not nearly enough hope. And then he's like, you see, centuries ago, every country in the world voted to end all exploration of space.
This is my favorite.
They said the money would be put to better use on Earth. Maybe.
I'm sorry, Michael. But we see a picture of like these people in like
Go ahead.
Like I don't know, the Supreme Court or something. They're up there and they're like a big eagle behind them, and all these judges, and they're taking a vote. And on the back, we see against space science, 612. For space science, 3.
Oh, that is awesome. See, if you read any 1960s Superman, this all fits perfectly. It's great. Love it.
For space science, 612.
Love it.
All right, so yeah, but that was the doom of humanity. They voted against space science.
Yep.
And then the aliens came and they weren't prepared.
Exactly.
And the aliens just murdered them, shot up their book-like looking buildings, and just toppled them over. Yeah.
Well, at least we know how Mike I'm gonna guess that Mike W. Barr is for space science. What do you think?
Yeah, he's a big NASA fan. This Mike W. Barr.
Yep.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there you go.
So then now we cut back to Arthur and Tom, and they've landed at Stonehenge. And of course, it's out in the middle of nowhere. Even though they just talked about how there's overpopulation, and there's, everything's covered, store upon store. But that's fine.
And again, another not so good shot of Tom's face, just struggling there. But,
which one?
Yeah,
the one at the
middle one.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, not so good.
Not great.
Stonehenge. They're very excited, and they get out of their little spaceship, and they go to Stonehenge. And Arthur needs to summon Merlin.
Right.
Yeah. Because again, it's the year 3000, but Stonehenge is still there. Because Tom explains that they tried to take it down to put in like parking lots or something, but the Stonehenge still stands because all the machinery just stopped working somehow. And when they brought in workers, well, they all got sick. That the doctors never could figure out why. Yeah. Eventually, they just decided to let it stand.
And of course, this is where King Arthur laughs at him. Forgive me, boy, I laughed not at you, but at your tale. Merlin vowed that no power neath heaven would ever topple his handiwork, and he spoke true. So, yeah, so he built this, and he's like, okay, now I'm going to call him. Merlin, if you hear my words, he's like shouting to the heavens, right? And there's nothing. He's like, a wind, I wish not to speak to elementals, to weather spirits, but to thy maker. Where is Merlin? And then, oh, look, is this Merlin? This face appears. Go back to thy grave, pretender to the throne, rule the dead. No, England needs ye not. Usurper, go away. No, I am Arthur Pendragon, son of Uther and king of England, and I will not be denied. So he smashes his sword into a stone.
Well, his year 3000 crowbar.
That's right, the crowbar.
But last we saw it, he threw it into an alien's neck. So I don't know if they went back and retrieved it or not.
This is a different one? I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So then these hands come out of the ground. Sure enough, it's Merlin. You have been heard, Arthur, son of Uther, and answered by Merlin, son of the devil. See,
that's a good shot. The big panel they got there, the big splash page of Merlin rising up. That's a good shot.
Yep. So then they're chatting it up, and they're flashing back. And Merlin's like, I was baiting you so you would free me. I couldn't break the enchantment cast upon me by that scheming witch, Nynaeve.
Yeah, I don't know, Nynaeve or
I don't know. So basically, they're like, so then he teleports them away because they want to find Excalibur, right?
Yes.
So Merlin teleports them to the Salisbury Down nuclear plant. So we see like a bunch of tree trunks, the trees that have been cut down, a barbed wire fence, and then this nuclear power plant. And then on the walkways of the nuclear power plant, we see the aliens shooting up a bunch of people dressed like Dr. Fate, and they get and so then they appear there, and King Arthur's like, "Here, Merlin, I shall find Excalibur here. It was into these waters that one of your knights cast it at your bidding, and it is here that it remains." And then Tom's all worried that the aliens are going to find them, and then Merlin's like, "Arthur, tell your pet to be silent. They cannot see us." And he's like, "Pet." So yeah, it's kind of convenient, but Merlin can make it so the aliens can't see them. I guess they could have just not drawn the aliens being there, but whatever, that's fine. So then Merlin, he looks at the water and he's calling to the sword. And he's like, "Return!" And then we see, the hand come out of the lake. Well, not the lake, but the water. And,
the water at this nuclear power plant. I get, and notice, Michael, the hand, the lady of the lake, she has painted fingernails.
That's true.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, seems odd. All right.
So the sword comes out, and this is a weird scene. she throws the sword, and it's like hurtling through the air, and then just before Arthur is able to grab it, it just disappears. And he's like, Merlin, it's gone. And he's like, why? So it is, isn't it? Don't play games with me, Merlin. Merlin, that blade and I are one. Where is it? You shall know soon enough, son of Uther. And so shall the Knights of the Round Table as well. And then he makes them teleport away again. So then we cut over to the United Nations, and it says, even in the year 3000, a place where world leaders meet to discuss crises. And we see, so it's pretty much the same as now, except there's like those futuristic walkways or roadways going over it, and that's pretty much it. And those book buildings we talked about. Yeah,
well, we do get one invention here. They have a news reporter there, still using a very large microphone that looks like an adult sex toy. And then there is a nice invention here of a floating camera.
Yes.
Like, so there you go. That is some ingenuity. I was thinking
that's almost like a
part.
cell phone, or something. It's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, it's just floating in front of them.
You meant that? I thought you meant on the last page with that square thing he was holding. But you're talking about the next page.
No, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that square thing. I don't know what that is. I think it's just it looks like one of the original iPods.
Exactly.
I don't think it is. But yeah, I'm talking about the news reporter. You got a floating camera. So there's some ingenuity there from
I bet you
Bolland.
that technology's 5 to 10 years away. I guarantee they'll have like drones. Like that are silent, that can just be a camera and like follow you wherever you go for like news reports and stuff like that. So anyway.
So there you go, some actual year 3000 worthy technology.
Yep.
All right.
And then sure enough, well, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, so the newscasters there is covering this United Nations meeting, and everyone's angry. Oh, because the General Assembly has voted 912-0 to bitterly censor the invading aliens. Of course, since the last U.S. envoy to the aliens was disintegrated, there is some debate over who will deliver. You may want to do more than censor them. There's a commotion, Michael. The ground starts rumbling, and something pops up from the ground.
Sure enough, it's Excalibur, and it's inside an anvil.
Inside an anvil on top of a stone. I'm pretty sure the legend was just in a stone, not in an anvil
I think
on
you're
top
right
of
about
a stone.
That, yeah.
Huh. Because, are you really so cool if you can get the sword out of the anvil? How about getting the anvil out of the stone? Maybe that's even harder. Maybe try and do that. I don't know.
Good point.
Maybe you're the true king. But, so next, the sword and the stone. Oh, my God. What a cliffhanger.
I'll be reading that tonight.
Holy fuck. Yeah, this is terrible. This is just god-awful.
Good fun. I call it good fun. Good, maybe meant for kids, but good fun.
Tom is terrible, first of all. That guy
He's not great.
Is the worst. Again, why did we open the story with those two people who we never see again?
Maybe we'll see them next issue, right?
The writing is very ham-fisted. The 3000 is just, I don't know, it's just a random number. It has no real basis on the story. I don't know. I don't like any of this. This is not enjoyable at all. And I just don't like Brian Bolland's art. And here, this is not good. There's a lot of really bad panels here. Anatomy-wise, just line-wise, just, I don't know. Not a fan of any of this.
So are you telling me even after reading Killing Joke, you don't like Brian Bolland?
I liked, it was fun. Yeah, it's good. When Killing Joke was fine, but he's not one of my favorites or anything. I just don't like his style. It just doesn't, make it for me. But this here, just, not good. Not good. So, I don't know. Aliens and King Arthur, Michael.
That's right. It's a good combo. Good combo. This will make a great cartoon one day. Coming soon from DC Warner.
You know what? Wouldn't it make a good comic book?
I think it's fun. It's good fun. And now awful. You know you're only one out of 118 that doesn't like it.
I take great pride in that.
Right.
So
contrarian.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to say about this, Michael? Do you want to defend it? Besides good fun?
Only that I've been waiting many years to read it because I have the original issues. And I will say that it's more for kids than I thought it would be, but it's still good fun.
I don't know. Nothing much was fun about this.
I thought it was.
All right. Well, here we go. Yeah, I'm just, as I was panning through, yeah, we don't see him ever retreat. Oh, I guess, what? They both had crowbars. They both had year 3000 crowbars somehow.
Okay.
So when King Arthur throws his through the alien's neck, Tom still has his. Although Tom, there was only one to begin with, so I don't know where the other one came from. But I guess they picked it up on the way out, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so anyway. All right, 1 out of 10, Michael. I'm going to go 2. I'll give it a 2. I would have given it a 1, but since you love it so much, I will give it a 2. So.
I will give it, let's see, the art I give a 7.
That is ridiculous. That is absurd. 7 for this.
Well,
that
first
is
of
absurd.
all, let's be clear. Brian Bolland on Killing Joke is a 10. And this is not as good, so I'll give it a 7. But all Brian Bolland art is good. Mike W. Barr's writing, I'll give it a 5.5. So we'll average this out to, what is that, 6.25 or something? I don't know. Something like that.
All right.
6.25, Camelot 3000.
All right.
Woo!
So there you go.
Love me
if you
some
like King Arthur,
yeah,
and you like aliens, here you go. This book's for you. Camelot 3000. All right, so next week, I want to try and out-obscure you, Michael. I will see your Camelot 3000, and I will raise you Doc Savage from 1973, number 4.
I mean, I did tell you last week that I'm in the middle of reading Doc Savage, right?
I know, because last week, after the show, we were talking with our buddy Bob, and I was saying how I got some obscure picks coming up, Michael. I'm probably going to pick Doc Savage. And you said you were reading Doc Savage at that very moment.
That's right.
I was like,
crazy. What? So what number are we doing?
We're going to do number 4 from 1973.
All right.
Now, I've always heard of Doc Savage because I guess it was a fictionalized hero, like in books, right?
Yeah, it was a pulp hero, yeah.
And then Marvel adapted him to the comics for a brief, I think this series was only around 8 issues or something like that.
8 issues, yeah.
And then I think they brought him back again after, and there's been a few volumes of Doc Savage, I guess, over the years for different companies. Mm-hmm. But I think this was the first comic book adaptation.
I think so, yeah.
But I don't know anything about the character. I hear he's a man of bronze.
Yeah, which is confusing because, just like Superman's the Man of Steel, I thought it was kind of just a nickname. But no, his skin is actual bronze.
Literal bronze.
Kind of weird.
So, I'm interested in this. I'm looking forward to researching this character and its history. So, that'll be next week. Doc Savage.
All right, Doc Savage. Also my picks. It was on my list, so now I can knock it off and pick something else.
Wow, that's 2 weeks in a row I've knocked out some of your picks.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, if you can duplicate my next pick, then, the world will collapse in on itself. We'll see if that happens.
Camelot 3000 issue 4.
Yes. How could you know? Anyway, so you can hear every episode of Flea Market Fantasy on Stitcher, Spotify, and iTunes under Comic Book Syndicate. You can also follow us on Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on the Comic Book Syndicate website. Every week we pick a different Bronze Age comic. 1 week I pick, 1 week Mike Dell picks. So until next Tuesday, disperse!